Over a year ago, 18 softball nations began their quest for the title of world champion. 4 days ago, the top 8 met here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, to decide who would claim the ultimate prize. We are now down to the final 2, with one to be awarded the gold medal when it's all said and done. Hello to everyone watching around the globe. Welcome back to Devon Park in the softball capital of the world, home of the College World Series and the venue for the 2028 Olympic Games. I'm Lance Wynn, working alongside former Olympian and now coach Amanda Fama. Thanks for tagging along as we get set for the gold medal game between Japan and the United States. And before I bring my partner in, let's take a look at the batting order for the visitors from Japan. Mayuma Ishikawa leads things off, followed by Yuimi Oga. Yumika Kagin batting the 3 spot. She has been lights out. Batting cleanup is Rina Shamazu. Aaron Sato in the 5 hole. Meibai Noguchi bats 6. Mayumi Fujiwara will be batting in the 7th spot. Aisa Noda bats 8th. And Hana Nakanishi bats 9th. Defensively for the United States, outstanding. Peyton Westra, Aspen Boulware, Emma Ford, left to right in the outfield. Kyle Hoshing on the hot corner. McLean Hudson and Addison Shepard up the middle. Aubrey McLaughlin is at first base, and Juliana Hutchins, red hot, tearing the cover off the ball, catching for Lillian Goodwin, today's starter. And Goodwin, of course, comes in with a 1-0 record. She's pitched 4 innings, allowed just 2 hits, just a .143 on base or batting average for her opponents. She's only walked 2 in the Blue Crew. Number 1 Blue Crew, Laura McMillan from Canada will be at home plate. Darren Clark from Australia at first. Ivan Aravello from Spain at second. And Nicholas Dew from Argentina is at third. And now that allows me to bring in my partner, Amanda Fama. And I just want to say to you, it's been a pleasure working with you all week. And you already saw round 1 of these 2 teams play, a 5-4 win by the U.S., big home run by Aspen Boulware to win that one late. And going into this one, we've seen a lot of cat and mouse here or there. What kind of adjustments do you think that first the United States is about to make here before we head into this game?
Well, they did see each other earlier in the tournament, and that's pretty much just a practice game because all the anticipation is here. But for Team USA, they have some unexpected errors defensively, so they're going to have to kind of tighten that up and make adjustments. Other than that, just play their game. Goodwin's going to throw strikes and throw hard, and so Japan's really going to have to come out and be ready right off the bat.
So we are underway here as Lillian Goodwin, first pitch to the leadoff hitter and Mayua Ishikawa. Ishikawa 5 for 12 in this tournament, batting .417. She has been a consummate leadoff hitter. And I think that it's going to be important for Japan here to get off to a good start. We saw that. Ground ball to first, and good job laying on the tag by McLaughlin for out number 1.
The leadoff hitter definitely sets the tone of the game, especially when you're the first batter of the game. So putting the ball in play is good, and that can really get a rally going. But when you're in the championship game and you're facing Team USA, being able to get yourself on is huge. And we see her kind of rolling over to first and not hitting it so hard. So it's going to be up to Oga now to kind of set the tone for Team Japan.
So Amy Oga steps in, a number 2 hitter, to face Goodwin. Like I said, Goodwin awfully good. She's only pitched 4 innings, but she has not allowed a run. And she's walked 2 but struck out 8 hitters. So efficiency-wise, and like we talked about anyway prior to the game, it's going to be all hands on deck for both these 2 teams. Nothing to lose. This is the last game of this tournament, of this World Cup final, and we expect that any kind of difficulty, the leash will be extremely short on both sides.
Well, Goodwin also being a left-handed pitcher with a dominant left-handed batting order, it's a little different. And Japan hasn't really seen too many lefties, so it's a different view, a different release point for them.
That bunt will roll foul. So that'll run the count even at 2 balls, 2 strikes to Oga, the number 2 hitter. The last time these 2 teams met, there was a couple of, 3 runs in total in the first inning. So going to be interesting to see here who gets on the board first and who can kind of get that momentum. as Goodwin missing up to run the count full.
You always want to be the team that scores first. You can have a little bit of a relief or a breath of fresh air, but again, it's really anyone's game, and it's a championship, so everything's heightened.
Slapped and fielded at third and not in time. So there you see the speed right away of Oga. And it didn't matter that Ho-Ching charged that ball. It was laid down nicely just in the short hole, meaning just before and between the pitcher and third. And great job to jump on it, but a better job. So an infield hit, runner aboard for the number 3 hitter, and Yumika Kajin. And Kajin, all she's done in this tournament is runner goes first pitch, and that one gets away. No chance to advance, but a stolen base will put a runner in scoring position, and they're calling her out. So she obviously left early, a little anxious there, so careless, and that will eliminate the base runner.
And this is a big break for Team USA, but also a huge mental error for Japan. When you get a runner on and there's less than 2 outs, you need to be careful. They had that bag regardless if you leave early or not. And so that could be a deciding factor later in the inning. We've seen that so many times throughout this tournament.
Well, when you've got teams of this caliber, you got to figure that it's just going to be one mistake that determines this game. And you've got Yumika Kajin coming up. This is one of the leading hitters in this tournament. She's 10 for 14 with a batting average of 714, and you took the opportunity for her to bring in a run right away from her by running yourself out of that play. 2 balls and a strike here to Kajin. Goodwin staying outside. 3-1. I think she's got good reason to try to work the inner or outside part of the plate. Kajin her plate coverage is outstanding. And a swing and a miss. So the count now 3-2 as she busted her inside with that pitch.
What makes Goodwin such a great pitcher also, though, is the change in speed that she has. And that's something that Japan's really going to have to make an adjustment with and have a plan when they get late. A whole 0-2, 1-2. They're going to have to be able to sit changeup and expect something fast, but also stick to their plan.
So with a walk, Rino Shimazu, the hitter. And you think about, the runner leaving early, and now all of a sudden, instead of 2 on, you've got 1 on with 2 away. And I apologize. I was ahead of things and thought she had walked, but that's a strikeout. So Kajin goes down, and what was a promising inning for Japan ends up a 1-2-3. Down they go. So United States holding strong. They do surrender a hit, but that's about it. And sometimes in a game like this, every break matters, and a little bit here or there goes in your favor. That works well. We're going to stay right here and take a look at the batting order for the U.S. The leading hitting team in this tournament, McLean Hudson, will lead things off. Aspen Boulware bats in the 2 spot. Juliana Hutchins, like I said, red hot in the 3 spot. Batting cleanup, Brooklyn Palatori. Peyton Westra bats 5th. Aubrey McLaughlin 6th. Kyle Horsing will be batting in the 7th spot. Addison Shepard 8th. And Emma Ford will be batting 9th. Defensively for Japan, Rino Shimazu, Mayua Ishikawa, and Meibai Noguchi will be left to right in the outfield. Hana Nakanishi on the hot corner. Aisha Noda at short. Yuimi Oga at second. Aaron Sato at first. And Yumika Kajin will be catching for today's starter, Shion Yamamoto. We look at Yamamoto, of course, comes in a perfect 3-0. Her ERA, a microscopic 0.44. She's pitched 16 innings, given up 8 hits, 2 runs, walked 4, but struck out 10. And the opponent's batting average, 148. So that's, I hope I'm not on her Christmas list because she's not very giving, is she?
Well, that's what Team USA needs to obviously look at those stats. But no, she has a ton of strikeouts. You mentioned 10, so she's going to throw strikes. but they need to get up there with a pre-pitch plan. Am I go on something hard, or am I sitting something slow outside or waiting? But they need to stick to that and be disciplined.
Well, you're going to have to be disciplined certainly to the top 4 in this order for the U.S. They are extremely dangerous, some of the leading hitters in this World Cup final. McLean Hudson leading it off. 9 for 14. Batting average, 6.43. And we'll just try to remember that a good batting average in Major League Baseball is 300. In softball, I'd say maybe 350 is exceptional, but anything other than that, you are in that crazy number range. 3-0 here. Yamamoto, 4-pitch walk to Hudson. So leadoff runner aboard for the U.S., and that'll bring up Aspen Boulware. And we've seen Aspen Boulware do a little of everything in that 2 spot, whether it be hit for power or sacrifice.
And Yamamoto looking a little wild, hasn't settled in, but when you're playing USA, you need to settle in first batter, especially with Boulware, who can attack at any moment with anything, as you're saying, lands a bunt, a slap, a power hit to the wall, or something that you think is just a ground out, and she ends up at third base. She is definitely one of the MVPs to watch, and when she's up to bat with a runner on, it's really dangerous.
Doesn't square, check swing. That will go foul down the left field line. So a 1-1 count. Boulware, of course, you see, comes in with 8 hits. 8 for 14, batting .571. So the top 3 hitters all batting over 500 in this World Cup final, and good eye there to leave that. 2 balls and a strike. That may be one of the reasons that Yamamoto is tiptoeing around that strike zone. And a good change there, and Boulware swings over it for a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And way out on that front foot, leaning forward, timing it up. Again, that's going to be the go-to pitch for Yamamoto, or it should be, trying to catch USA off balance. Get them to roll over, get them to pop up.
Had a notion and left that. Good eye to run the count full. So you can already see the first 2 batters for the U.S. very patient. Haven't chased anything out of the strike zone, so I'm sure that's part of their strategy. That one will drift foul down the left side. Got a lot of young school kids in attendance here today trying to support their team. 3-2, and just got a piece of that. So she went back to the change, and luckily enough, Boulware was able to just get the end of the bat on it.
Well, these teams definitely scout each other and scout each other hard. And Boulware, again, being an incredible athlete, but any athlete, that ball that's bouncing a foot or 2 in front of you, it's enticing and you go for it, and then you end up just swinging all the way around.
And that hit her. So she will head down to first base. So this inning starting off exactly the way the United States would want it to, with the first 2 batters aboard now for the top hitter right now in the tournament in Juliana Hutchins. She comes in batting, having 7 hits and 9 at-bats. 778 batting average. She's got 8 RBIs, so not only is she leading in batting average, but she's leading in RBIs as well. And I think if ever there's a good time for a conference, this was probably it. Now, I don't think you intentionally walk anyone right now, but do you consider the intentional walk? Maybe try to get her to chase something out of the strike zone and not give her anything. Or do you challenge her?
I think you challenge her. Yamamoto hasn't settled in enough to where she can be precise enough to hit a spot maybe in the other's batter's box and see if Hutchins is going to chase it. Maybe if she came out firing, and that was a critical mistake hitting Boulware. She had her chasing 2 strikes, so the control is not there, so I think you go right at her.
We'll see. Corners in, bunt laid down, and it's a beauty. Played nicely behind the plate there by Kajin, and she's able to get it over for the out, but A beauty sack bunt by the leading hitter in this tournament. Just gives you an idea of the weapons that are at the disposal of the U.S. coaching staff.
Well, and just because you have a great batting average, you could be 10 for 10. They're going to drop a bunt. They're going to play the game the way the game should be played. And you know what? Let's sacrifice a very good hitter to get runners in scoring position.
Infield drawn in up the middle, and it's Brooklyn Palatori steps in. So a chance for the U.S. here with 1 out and 2 aboard. Second and third. Looking to open the scoring here in this bottom of the first. A good pitch up and in by Yamamoto. 1 ball, 1 strike. Congratulations to Mexico in claiming the bronze medal in a win over China. And another hit batter, and Palatori will head down, and uncharacteristic, but the end result is the bases are now loaded for Peyton Westra.
Well, not only bases loaded, but again, these are crucial mistakes that Japan cannot be doing in a gold medal game. You don't have any leeway in these games because no one on the roster 1 through 15 cannot hit a grand slam right now, and so they're going to have to really focus and dial themselves in.
Well, you can see Yamamoto struggling a bit. She hasn't been able to throw the change for a strike, and really she hasn't been able to throw much for a strike here in this early going. A walk, a hit batter, a bunt, sack, and then another hit batter as Westra fouls that one off to even the count at 1-1.
And yesterday against China, she had the same problem, not being able to find the strike zone. Not hitting batters, but just not able to find it. She went out, went to the bullpen, kind of dialed it in, and then came back and had a great outing. But again, with 1 out and bases loaded for USA, if you're not dialed in, this can unravel quickly.
Well, one of the things that we noted, too, in yesterday's games, both with the U.S. and with Japan, they were very methodical, and they took advantage of the opportunities. Base runner at third was cashed almost every time. So, you know, that's the kind of thing that both these two teams do well. And if you're the opposition, you're trying to limit the amount of base runners that are on third base. So far, Japan has not been able to do that, but and a good pitch, good movement, but I think that was a good 1-2 pitch. That'll run the count to 2-2.
Well, we've talked a bunch of times about the discipline that USA has in the box. You want to get up there.
Swing and a miss, and as you say that, Westra, but that was a good drop ball. Got her to chase, and a big strikeout there will bring up Aubrey McLaughlin.
But yeah, the discipline, they do well for maybe taking first strike, but once they get 2 strikes, if Yamamoto gets the spin really precise on her ball, it's so deceiving. And with 2 strikes and bases loaded, you're going to be hacking at that. So again, just Yamamoto needs to be consistent with all of her pitches.
Tried to go outside corner, left it out there, and it's 1 ball. I think you're right. I thought that was probably her best pitch of the inning, really, that she threw right there, and see if that lifts her up as the change, missing out, 2-0. So certainly not out of the woods, and throughout this week, the United States has specialized in 2-out rallies. That one in there for a strike. So to the United States, doesn't matter how many are out, they are equally as dangerous. Took something off, bounced it in, so now it's a 3-1 count. So nowhere to put McLaughlin. Game's first run on the line here. And a roller to second. Picked up, throw over in time. So talk about dodging a bullet. The U.S. loads them up. Can't cash a run. We have played 1 complete. We're scoreless here at Devon Park. You are watching the gold medal game on the WBSC U-18 Women's Softball World Cup Finals right here on GameTime.Sport. Welcome back. The United States missed a golden opportunity, loaded the bases with less than 2 out, weren't able to push across a run. So in the first inning, Japan had a 1-out single, and the runner left early. That squandered that opportunity. The United States squanders the bases loaded, so I'd say those two will cancel each other out. And now it's Rino Shimazu. Her first look at a pitch from Goodwin is in there for a strike. Now you tell me, we talk about momentum all the time, Amanda. Now, who do you think has the advantage, or is that something that will cancel each other out? I mean, U.S., you got to think positive that they loaded the bases without a hit, but at the same time, they weren't able to cash.
Yeah, I mean, momentum, I would say, is on Japan's side. To get out of a 1-out situation with bases loaded from Team USA and them not put the bat on the ball, that's pretty big. If there's any type of momentum shifts, I think it would be on Japan's side right now.
All right, just a reminder that in the WBSC rankings, Japan is number 1 and the United States number 2. Now, you got to remember that when you start the group stage, which was last year in 3 different places throughout the world, starting with 18 teams, the ranking system based on the points is a little different and maybe not as, and I won't say accurate because the points are accurate, but what has gone on, and then there's so much that goes on between the time that you qualify and the time that you actually get on the diamond. Final 8, ground ball, 2-hopper to second, over to first, no problem for Addison Shepard, 1 away. So, I mean, really, it's been clear here, I think, this week that these are the 2 best teams in the world in the U-18 category. Who's better? This will probably determine where the rankings, do they flip or do they stay the same?
Well, that's why I love rankings as a player, loved rankings, but it also, when it's game time, it really doesn't mean anything because the only example I can give is Team Mexico. They're ranked, but they had a great first outing, and then they played, I mean, terrible, honestly, and I can say that because I'm close with them, but they did not have the best outing throughout the tournament, and then they came up playing amazing the last game for a bronze medal. So the rankings are good to classify you at a certain level, and then when it's the championship game and it's Japan and USA, I don't think you can't tilt the scale any which direction.
Aaron Sato to work. Good pitch inside, swing and a miss. A ball and 2 strikes. So Goodwin, when it was all said and done, had a 1-2-3 and gave up a hit. But like we said, nullified by the runner leaving early on a stolen base attempt. And yes, she did go around. So second strikeout of the game for Goodwin. And with 2 away now, it'll be Meibai Noguchi.
And Goodwin going upstairs, which I like for that last pitch. Again, changing the level of the ball is going to be crucial. And you can see hesitant, seeing and recognizing it late, trying to hold up, and it's not good enough.
That pitch in there for a strike. Haven't seen her utilize the changeup too much early on, so she has been very effective with that rise ball. And I think we both know that rise ball always looks so sweet when it leaves the hand, and then you just don't look so good by the time
you've decided not to swing.
That's right. You just something about you just walk away.
Check,
and you
swing,
just don't look
walk
good.
away
Yep.
into the dugout.
Yeah, or you just come up with air, or something like that. So,
but that's the thing with Japan; they can get on that number and see the break early.
That's lifted up into left field, going back, tracking and make a nice grab out there. Peyton Westra made that grab look easy. That ball was hit hard. A 1-2-3 inning for the United States. Nothing doing for Japan. We have played 1.5 here. The gold medal game, the big one for the title of world champion. We'll be back.
Athletes from Oklahoma City Public Schools middle and high school softball teams. They come out to support and cheer on Team USA, and we are thrilled to have them in the house this afternoon. Let's get loud as we ask all of these future stars, please stand up and be recognized. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Leading off the bottom half of the second inning for Team USA, third baseman number 28, Kiele Hochi.
Kyle Hoching, followed by Addison Shepard and Emma Ford, the scheduled 3 hitters, to face Shion Yamamoto here as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Scoreless ball game. First pitch on the corner for a called strike. Hoching has been outstanding defensively for the United States. Sure she would like to add a couple of hits to her total, but again, we talked about when you play on a team with such a high caliber of players that you're fitting in, you're a piece fitting into the puzzle, and it's not your show as she goes down swinging, so you contribute any way you can, and you buy in.
You buy in, and when everyone buys in, they feed off each other. And that's when we see these teams do really well. And we see these teams kind of struggle all together. As we're seeing Team USA kind of chase after balls out of the zone and stuff. But, yeah, every player has their own role. And when you guys can figure that out, you're unstoppable.
Addison Shepard now swings through for strike 1. Her first at bat of this gold medal game. That ball snagged, but in foul territory. Nakanishi just practicing on that one. And
I like that, though, because she gets a rep in. But not only that, sometimes calls don't go your way, regardless of how obvious it is. So finish the play and no harm done.
Yeah, play until the umpire signals otherwise. That ball drifting foul. So Yamamoto, with some better control here in this inning, seems to be hitting her spots better. And not just because she picked up her second strike of the game, but here at this at-bat, she's really done a good job of working both sides of the plate and the up and down of the strike zone. But an 0-2 count here to Shepard. So we'll see if she goes to the change or if they try and stay outside. And that looked to me a bit like a changeup, but you've got better eyes than I do, Amanda, so.
It looks like, yes, Team USA is out in front of it. I think that off speed, again, with the power that USA has just kind of loaded up. When you start those hips and then the ball's coming in 10, 12 miles an hour slower, those are the balls that they catch out in front. They tend to roll over.
A ball and 2 strikes. One away here and a 1-2. And it hits her. So third batter that has been hit in this ball game by Yamamoto. We're only in the bottom of the second inning.
Well, not only is a hit batter a free base, but Yamamoto's, like you just said earlier, she's doing really well placing the ball. So she's slowed down a little bit. She's getting more strikes. She's getting USA to chase, and then she loses them by hitting them. It's almost better if they hit the ball than just giving them a free pass.
Well, and the way she's doing it, like she's hitting these batters in spots where they have no chance to even get out of the way. So that really means that you're missing your spot, right? It's not like off the ankle guard or anything like that. Emma Ford now looks at a pitch outside. Count now 1-1.
And that could be nerves too. You don't know with Japan. They don't really express if they're nervous or not, but it's a championship game. These are still young athletes, so maybe some nerves and causing to overthrow a little bit.
Now, I'm looking here, and I stand corrected. That's not Emma Ford. So that is Annabella Abdullah. So a change was made, unbeknownst to us, but Abdullah in, and the count 2-2.
One thing I'm noticing as well, behind the plate with Kajin is she doesn't stick and stay low. She doesn't frame the ball and stay low. She's so nervous about the runner. But when your pitcher's struggling, you almost need to sit a little bit longer, try to frame the ball for an extra half a second and give the umpire maybe a little better look at it. Only, again, when your pitcher's struggling, but doesn't matter when you're throwing a ball that drops off like that.
Well, you hit a batter rate about waist high and you come back with a change like that. It's almost like night and day, Jekyll and Hyde kind of scenario. Back to the top of the shop here with McLean Hudson. She walked, but was left stranded at third base when the U.S. left the bags full in the first inning. 2-0. So sometimes Yamamoto has looked picture perfect, other times kind of wild. Took something off. That's a beauty pitch there for a called strike.
Which then is harder as a hitter, too, because if you know a pitcher's on, then you're like, okay, she just has a great curveball or rise ball, and, like, I have to figure it out. But now if she's, like, inconsistent, it adds a different element. I don't think she's doing it on purpose, but just is making it a little tougher because now USA has to be disciplined and be a little extra patient instead of, like, I'm going to get a strike and I just got to go for it.
I agree. That uncertainty is different. You can't get dug in quite deep as you usually do if you know a pitcher or know what they've got, and that one missing out will run the count full. So runner will be on the move here with 2 away. 3-2 pitch. Runner on the move, and that's on the shorty short hop. Good play there over to first in time. So some solid defense again by Oga as Japan leaves one stranded. Defense prevails as we have played 2 complete here in the gold medal game of the WBSC U-18 Women's Softball World Cup Finals right here on GameTime.Sport. Back here at Devon Park, the softball capital of the world, and the venue for softball in the upcoming 2028 Olympic Games. So this place is going to be rocking and rolling up until then. 7-8-9 in Fujiwara, Noda, and Nakanishi. Scheduled 3 hitters to face Lillian Goodwin. Goodwin has faced the minimal batters, but that ball's hit up, and I'm not sure anyone's going to track that all the way to the wall. Rounding second, headed to third, and going to make it into third with a leadoff triple is Fujiwara to lead things off here in the third.
Fujiwara being very aggressive on that first pitch and hits this ball high with Abdullah playing a little in. This is hit over her head, allowing her to get to third, but again, Japan having that style of hitting where they're able to have such great bat control and just place the bat at the right angle to hit it far. And again, it being high, if she levels that out, that's a ball over the fence. But regardless, she's on third with no outs.
And if you are leaving the batter's box and you hit that to right field, the play's in front of you, infield drawn in for Noda. The play's in front of you, which makes a difference. You can decide as you are rounding first, heading to second, whether or not you're going to go to third or not, just based on where the ball is at that time. So big advantage there. The 0-1, and a beautiful bunt laid down, and that's all you can do is protect home plate. As Noda with a base hit So runner still at third, and Noda.
Well, it's actually the only play she has because no one's covering first base. So good thing they decided to go home and not just step and turn and throw it down the line. And that might be something that coach is going to say because there's no doubt Japan saw that and is going to use that later in the game. The second baseman crashed over towards second base, which there wasn't even a runner. So, I mean, that was actually a best case scenario for USA.
Yeah, I think they defended that the only way that they could, and you can see a little bit of a conference out there because when no one is covering the bag, you know that someone wasn't where they should have been, and I think that would be the reminder. So now
how surprised they were with that too. Like they were not expecting that. So I'd also be like, hey, you guys, focus in a little more.
They can lay it down at any time, and we've talked about that in a couple of games. So 2 on now for Nakanishi. And she looks at a pitch. Runner's going to take second on the indifference, and now runners at second and third with nobody out. So you keep the middle of the infield in to cut down that run, prevent the bunt. But tough to defend the way Japan lays it down. They're so good at it. Between that and you think a bunt and then a slap could come your way or something hard goes by you.
Well, not only as an infielder, but an outfielder, this is a huge field. And so you want to play far enough in where if you catch a fly ball, the runner's going to be running home and you can get her.
There's a slap attempt, but tracked down by Hoshing. Nice job. Got a great jump on it for the first out.
And Nakanishi trying to be too late on this and trying to be too sneaky to catch Team USA off guard. And she gets under the ball. As you see, she tries to slap it to the left side and go towards third. But again, great defensiveness from Ho-Ching at third base to be that fast.
Top of the shop now in Ichikawa. She grounded out in her first at bat, but still having a very impressive World Cup Finals, batting .417. That one flared up, and that's going to drop for a base hit. First run of this gold medal game will belong to the Japan, and another one comes in on the overthrow. So a 2-run single that turns into a double for Mayua Ishikawa, and Japan leads the United States 2-0.
Well, these are those frustrating balls that just land in no man's land. But the base running, the aggressiveness, as soon as that ball was hit, the third base coach was sending the runner to second. Be aggressive. Let's make USA put the pressure on them to make a bad throw, and they did. And now Japan has 2 across the board.
Yui Miyoga singled in her first at-bat, but left early and erased that opportunity quick. So she's got another chance here with a runner in scoring position. And, boy, you tack on another run here against the United States, you really put them up against the wall as that one gets away. So Ishikawa scampers over to third. And now that third run just 60 feet away, and the pressure now on the defense here.
Well, those little things, as small as just crossing up your catcher and a ball that doesn't even tail off too far from Hutchins at 3 or 4 feet, but the speed of Japan. And Lance, again, the point of it is those little errors accumulate, and if you get too far in the hole, you can't come back, you can't recover, and there's no time for that. This is the championship game.
Well, we talked about these two teams, and you look at Japan, they've got 3 hit batters. As that one slapped up, and that will drift out of play. They've got 3 hit batters, but they haven't given up a run. So they've dodged a few bullets. The United States, in dodging those bullets, those are opportunities missed for them. When you look at Japan now, they have taken advantage of their opportunities going forward. The question will be, U.S. will have to do the same, but really I think that run at third base is a big run there, and it'll be up to the United States to shut that one off. 2-2 count here to Oga. Infield still in tight. Trying to cut off that run at third. And that's slapped up and an easy basket catch. Throw back over in time. So beauty double play. And that's what happens when your when your pitcher can play and field their position.
Well, talking about getting yourself out of a tight crunch, your catcher having that view of the runner at third, and I'm not sure if it was a squeeze play, but we're talking about missed opportunities, and that's a crucial double play for Japan.
Well, Japan picks up 2. Could have been 3, but they pick up 2 either way. They are on the board first. We're headed to the home half of 3 after this. Welcome back. Lance Wynn along with Amanda Fama. Glad you have decided to hook up to our train as we're rolling through this gold medal game. We are in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It'll be Boulware followed by Hutchins and Palatorre. So the meat of the U.S. order up here looking to respond. They just gave up 2 runs. The U.S. left the bases loaded in the first, didn't score. Had a base runner in the 2nd inning, but Japan was able to get out of that unscathed, and that one lined up the middle. So Boulware doing her thing. If it's not laying it down, good solid single. First hit of the game for the U.S.
And a solid one. Boulware lines this up perfectly, squares it up, and we're talking about a team responding. She takes this pitch in the middle of the plate, levels it out. But again, how are you going to respond? Boulware did not like her first at bat, and she's coming up now with the speed. There's a lot of pressure on Japan. And again, how are you going to respond? Are you going to leave runners on? You got yourself out of a double play, but it's going to be crucial. But they need to do it 1 base at a time, and they can't overplay.
Well, we'll see if they can't take that good defensive play into this offensive set. They have Juliana Hutchins, their best hitter. All she did was sacrifice and move the runner over in the first. Runner goes. Boulware on the run, but I don't think that's correct. She did not slap the tag on, and it's not a forced play. So whether you had your foot on the bag or not is irrelevant. You never tag the runner, and you can see that here.
Well, what a quick release back there from the catcher, and I'm so interested on why teams have the second base covering, because the obstruction call is so tight these days. But when you have a strong left-handed hitter and your game plan is to throw them outside, you need to have your shortstop in that 5-6 hole or ready. So that means your second baseman has to cover. But that's why it's so dangerous, is more often than not that obstruction call's called.
Well, that throw was there in time. The tag, it looked like she missed the tag first and then it was too late to go back, but either way, Hutchins works a walk. So now there are 2 aboard for Palatorre, the designated player. She was hit by a pitch in her last at bat. Leaves that one down for ball 1. So this has been the MO for the United States, and they haven't given up very many runs, period, in this finals, but what they gave up to Japan, and they provided a swift and immediate answer. It seems like whenever you score on them, they get mad and they come back with that little bit extra intensity, and we'll see here if they can't build on that with 2 on now. Nobody away. And the 1-1 missing up for a 2-1 count. I know we watch these international competitions, and like you said yesterday, we have to remember that These young women, just 18 years, under 18, so 18 and younger. So they are at the beginning of their international career, not necessarily where they should be picture perfect or expected to have the same kind of level of experience and maturity that the senior teams do. That ball grounded to first, check, and an easy tag. So very good job there by Sato, and again, facing the runner, so not allowing anything to come in from third base.
We talk about the age and the level of these women playing. It's incredible because once you get that national team across your chest, you feel like these teams are invincible. And I'm guilty of that today, playing with the women's Italian national team. When I see Japan and I see USA, I'm expecting flawless performance just because that's what I face. But then I see these young ladies, we see them off the field, and they are just 16, 17, 18 years old. But then what amazes me the most is when they get going and they play to their ability, it's amazing. And it really understands why they represent their countries, because they are extremely athletic.
Got a pinch hitter now, and Ella Smith as she comes in to hit for Peyton Westra. So some early moves by the United States, giving Smith an opportunity. And she looks at a pitch outside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike. Got to figure that if the United States can respond here with at least one, that will go a long way, and that one fouled back a long way.
And seeing a little more just straight pitches from Yamamoto, straight to the outside, straight to the inside, not really going back to that changeup, but she's still kind of, she's sunken in a little bit, but not quite there. So if USA can sit on that fastball.
Well, they sat on that rise ball but couldn't touch it as Smith goes down swinging. 4th strikeout of this ball game for Yamamoto. She's also got 3 hit batters. So you look at that, and does that really matter when they're holding a 2-0 lead, right? I mean, the past is the past as Aubrey McLaughlin, and looks like there'll be a re-entry. So Westra will come back in on the 2-out catcher rule and the re-entry, and it'll be Aubrey McLaughlin now. So still looking for a clutch hit here, the United States. Again, they had the bases loaded in the first, couldn't cash. They had 2 on here with nobody out, and a ground out and a strikeout have put them behind the 8 ball and now in need of a 2-out hit. A pitch missing up for ball 1. McLaughlin grounded out to end that bases loaded first inning. That one on the outside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike. So, you know, she would love to atone for that and potentially cash a run here. Change up, ground ball, and good job to keep the body in front. And Sato has been fundamentally sound over there. 2 plays in this inning. And I'm just checking. So they must have called a foul ball on that. I think that's the case. All right. Now, again, it's where the ball's at, not where. Well, I mean, I'm looking at my scorecard. I had 2 outs and a ground out. So if you could,
well, if it's a foul ball, then she goes back.
Right.
Maybe stepping on the orange bag.
Maybe that's the case, but if
There's
she
been
stepped
some
on the
weird
own
things.
bag, she would still be there on that bag. I'm very curious because Kyle Ho-Ching's up now. So we'll get some clarification on that. I'm not so sure what happened there, but I mean, in my book, it looks like the United States is getting an extra out. But either way. So Ho-Ching up, struck out in her last at bat. And that one up for a 1-1 count. So first base touched the safety bag and not the white bag. And that ball flared out, so that's going to cash in 1 run. No chance to get another. Runner's going to take second on the play, so Ho-Ching takes advantage of that.
And that's where we see a more or less mental error kind of costing them. McLaughlin just Ho-Ching turns on this ball, hits it hard, but from the get-go, she is getting herself to second base and sliding in. So now we're starting to see those little things that happen. Now USA is starting to clutch up on those and take advantage of it.
So we'll get some clarifications on the rules there, but again, as I sit in the booth here, I do not claim to have the rule book memorized by any stretch. We will check it out and find out why it is that they touch the safety bag. So if the runner's safe, I would think the runner's on. But either way, that's, again, just me as Addison Shepard steps in. She was hit by a pitch in the second inning. So either way, it proves costly as the United States cashes in 2 and ties this ball game up. So just like the trend that we've seen this entire finals, as soon as someone scores on the U.S., they get mad and cash in another run. So there are 2 on here with 2 out and a 2-2 count.
There's been some crazy things this tournament happening, but great softball.
Great softball for sure. And I don't know, it's like I'm losing some time, some minutes here. Amanda, I hope I'm okay.
Everyone's amped up. It's USA versus Japan.
Yeah, I guess that's the case. So 2-2 game here in this gold medal game. Japan put up 2 in the top of this inning. U.S. has already responded, and now if they can get a clutch here and snatch that lead away.
Yamamoto throwing hard, 68.
Took something off through the hole. That's going to give the U.S. the lead. So another clutch hit. Addison Shepard will pick up an RBI, and it's 3-2 for the red, white, and blue.
And Yamamoto taking some off. This one coming in at 55, but it's just hit so hard and out of the reach of Nakanishi at third. And again, when you get USA going, you need to somehow figure out to catch them off guard, make them chase again like they were doing earlier in the game.
Annabella Abdullah stepping up. And she looks at a pitch in there for a strike. 0-2. So Yamamoto working on top here. Let's see if she can close the door and kill this rally right here. That, again, just like an inning ago, Japan had an important run at third. They weren't able to push it through for that third run. USA sitting, they've taken over the lead, but they've got a chance here to extend it if they can get another 2-out hit. Boy, 2-out rally sure hurt. That was a pretty close pitch to take, I tell you.
And that's what I would like to see Kajin kind of just stick down and keep that pitch there and frame it a little bit longer, but it doesn't look like it matters.
No, it doesn't. Strikeout ends the inning, but not before the U.S. capitalizes with 3. Tell you, don't get them mad. That's what they do. 3-2 the score here. We're headed to the top of the 4th when we come back.
USA leads by 1, 3-2.
3 complete innings as we head to the top of the 4th. Boy, the United States doing a good job of capitalizing on their opportunities, and more importantly, those opportunities created by Japan in, like you said, a mental error, touching the orange bag and not the white bag. That left the door open, and now we see a new pitcher in Caroline Stanton.
That's a tough one, too, and I think when you're Japan, you don't want to be facing Stanton, so you want to try and get ahead as fast as you can, try and get some runs off Goodwin, and definitely not get to Stanton because she has every pitch in the book and throws hard, and not only that, but she has the changeup, so when she's got her pitches on and they're coming in the low 70s and then she can throw her changeup, you know, that's when you're like, dang it, we should have clutched up on those opportunities earlier in the game, but now that you're up against Stanton, you need to stick to your game plan.
Stanton comes in with a 1.62 ERA, so she has been good, facing one of the best hitters in this tournament in Kajin. She walked in her first at bat and waves at that pitch. So I think you and I alluded off the top when we saw the lineup initially and noticed that Goodwin was going to get the start, that we figured that there'd be all hands on deck and that we'd see Caroline Stanton at some point in time in this game. And now Shimazu grounded out 0 for 1. Comes in, looks at that pellet right down the middle of the plate for a called strike.
Well, the way you beat Japan when they're on offense is you have to keep them guessing. And so if you have 4 different pitchers, why not throw them as much as you can so they don't get in a rhythm? And we've seen that a few times, is where maybe one time through the lineup and then there's another pitcher, and this is the championship game. This is what you play for. There is nothing after this, internationally at least. So yeah, throw every pitcher that you have to keep Japan off of their game.
Well, we talked about there being, I'm sure, a short leash, and you saw that Goodwin went through the order, 1 full time and then 2 batters, surrendered those 2 runs. So now that left it up to Stanton, and a ground ball weakly to second. Easy out for the second one of this inning.
When you throw 71 miles an hour and that pitch is inside on you, it hurts when you hit it off the handle, and that's a really strategic place to throw the ball again because you have to be extra quick to get the barrel out in front.
Aaron Sato, the hitter. First look here at Stanton. Ground ball, and that's going to be a tough hop. You knew that Ho-Ching was in trouble because she started going back a third and not forward. You only had one chance, and that was to take a step in. And I'm not sure how they're going to score that. That's a pretty hard hit ball.
It's hit hard, and exactly like you said, she goes back. But no matter which way you're moving, you got to keep your glove on the ground. And again, with the speed of Japan, that forces a little extra pressure. But keeping your glove down, at least stopping the ball, keeping it in front.
So a 2-out single if you want. I think I've scored that in E5, and that's a tough error on Ho-Ching because that's a tough ball. If you've ever spent any time on the hot corner, you know why they call it that. Meibai Noguchi flied out to end the second in her only other at bat, and she drills one but right into the glove, snagged by McClellan, and inning over. So a hot shot to first puts a cap on the home half of 4. You can see here, this is defense. There's not just one hot corner out there. There's 2. We'll be back. Bottom of the 4th coming up.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for Japan, number 12, Mayumi Fujiwara.
Back here, and similar to the United States, heading to the third time through the order. That will be it for Shion Yamamoto. Naomi Fujiwara will slide in there as she came in listed as the designated player, so she'll take over the pitching duties, and she will be faced with the top of the shop in Hudson, Boulware, and Hutchins. So no rest at all for her.
I don't think she minds. Don't you want to be playing every second of every game and be involved? And if you're not that type of athlete, then you're not meant to be on one of these national teams.
I'd have to be hard to disagree with that for sure, as I think a legal pitch was called on that. So Hudson will get in a ball, and it's a 2-0 count. That one missing up. 3-0. So you got Hudson, who walked, was stranded at third, then grounded out in the second. Third at bat, got to be feeling pretty comfortable up there now. And she leaves that one for a leadoff walk here to open up the home half of 4.
With the inning that USA had prior to this, and they had a little bit of rhythm going, Fujiwara walking the first batter can add some extra pressure again, because Boulware has been on fire. And just everyone, it's such a lethal roster in general, but the lineup, you can't make that one mistake, can't get those first hitters on.
Just can't. Boulware, of course, hit by a pitch in her first at bat, singled, stole the base, and scored in the third. That one lifted up high. Settling under it is Shimazu, and she makes the grab for the first out. So just under that pitch a bit was Boulware, and now Juliana Hutchins, the leading hitter in this finals, will step in the batter's box to face Fujiwara. Takes a big rip, fouls it off. So had a sack in the first and then walked and scored in the third. U.S. didn't have their first hit until the third inning. They had 3 of them and put up 3 runs and have taken the lead. The 0-2. Had a notion outside, and I see exactly what you're talking about, Amanda, that behind there, Kajin is moving all the time. It doesn't make it all that easy for umpires to give you the call if there's even that chance that you're up and moving and they can't see the result of that pitch on the corner. So making it a little difficult by being maybe a little too active behind the dish.
And sometimes it's a waste pitch, so that's okay. But, yeah, when you are...
That one lined out to right field, base hit, rounding second into third. A one-out single for Hutchins. She stays hot, and now there are runners on the corners.
Hutchins just staying in her rhythm, sitting back, getting the barrel out in front of the ball. And, again, the right side of Japan's outfield getting the action, but really getting the ball in quick. So that was good because now you have runners on first and third. Not an ideal situation, but better than second and third.
Brooklyn Palatori now will step in. Hit by a pitch and a ground out. So once again, the United States threatening here with 2 aboard. 1 away. Pitch outside corner for a strike. Runner's going to throw, but not going to be able to lure or entice that throw all the way down to second base. So defensive indifference will allow Hutchins to take second. I think we all know about that play.
It's so hard and it seems so easy, and you're like, oh, if she does this and you can do that, but then once the ball's in play somehow and the runners are going, it's always seems to be a mess and you have to improvise. But I think as long as you get out of it without anyone scoring in the ball in the outfield, it's...
You're so right. It's something where even if you know they're going to do it, you know how to defend it, but for some strange reason, it doesn't always work out.
Yeah.
The 0-2 floated, and that runner's going to come scamper, try to score, and she's going to be safe on the play. And that's a tight one, but home plate umpire Lauren McMillan right on top of it. And the question is, does she get the foot in before the tag?
But really good positioning for Fujiwara. She's able to just catch the ball and tag, but that foot gets in, then she's safe. So, again, those little things, hit by pitches, stepping on the orange bag, pass balls with or wild pitches with runners on third. That you cannot be doing that against Team USA at any level in any medal game.
So they have capitalized and pushed across their fourth run. And now the count 2-2 to Palatore. And again, U.S. now, after squandering a couple of opportunities early, have capitalized on their opportunities in the last couple of innings. And that one flared up, but that's going to drop foul. We said that this game may come down to one or two plays. That may be the difference between these two teams. Caliber-wise, that seems to be the case. Certainly when you look at the rankings and you look at what's happened this week, the USA finished a perfect 5-0. Japan 4-1. Their only loss, of course, that one-run game to the United States, as that one again lifted foul down the right side. So these two teams certainly capable of going toe-to-toe, blow for blow. And that right now, that seems to be the case, but right now advantage to the United States.
Well, and it's the importance of the mental side of the game and slowing yourself down, because USA is a powerhouse and they have 7-10 home runs this whole time, but they have not been hitting extremely hard. If they've hit the ball hard, it's been a base hit or two. So it's those mental little errors that have gotten Japan down by 2.
Well, Fujiwara just pulled a dangerous changeup out of her back pocket, as you see here, to sit down Palatore, and now it will be, looks like Ella Smith will be hitting again, or I'm going to double check that, and no, that is Westra back. So Westra, who struck out in the first, pinch hit for in the third, and now back at it here in the fourth. On the re-entry, a pitch in tight. Catchers have to remember, you got to stay down and allow that umpire to be able to see those pitches. You can't pop up too early. There's no runner on first base going to second, so as you can see there, good pitch in for a called strike.
And sometimes you see catchers hold frame forever and ever and ever. In Japan, through all levels, they tend to just pop up quick and be really animated, and so it's definitely their style of play.
Change up there out in front. Got the barrel on it, but fouled it right back. So you look at this, and if Westra can deliver here, that's a big run 60 feet away to increase the lead to 3. Right now it's 4-2. That one flared short, wait on it, throw over, in time, inning over. So a good job to keep that runner at third right there, but at the same time, the United States comes back and adds another. They lead this one 4-2. Boy, blink of an eye, we're about to do our slide to 5 when we come back. You're watching the gold medal game of the WBSC U-18 Women's Softball World Cup Finals on GameTime.Sport. Welcome back as we are about to do our usual slide 4-2 ball game. It'll be Fujiwara, Noda, and Nakanishi. First pitch swinging. Stanton fielding the position well to record out number one. One pitch, one away.
We've seen Japan swing at that first pitch, being aggressive, just on top of this and out in front, hitting the top of the ball, rolling over. But Stanton, almost like an on-the-run throw.
Well, that's again, you can tell that is a pitcher comfortable with fielding their position because there was no panic, good athleticism, and a good throw from the side. You don't often see a pitcher come from the side like an infielder when they're fielding a ground ball. That in there for a strike to Noda. Stanton has been good. She's 2-0. Her ERA is 1.62. She has given up 9 hits in 13 innings, but just 4 runs. She has walked 3 and struck out 5. So certainly not untouchable numbers, but very good numbers. And she comes in a situation here where her team has padded their lead and given her a little bit more of a comfort zone. So let's see here if she can settle in and get the job done. Comes back with one, ready over that outside corner to run the count full. Three-two, waved at, and down goes Noda. Second strikeout of the game for Stanton.
Staying low and away, and again with the lefty roster of Japan, they almost flare off towards the right side of the bag, towards the right side of the field, and you can't get your bat out when you have such a pitch that drops off the table. We've been saying all week, it's just you got to keep that shoulder in towards the pitcher.
Nakanishi can't keep that between the lines. Foul ball. Well, you saw in that strikeout, Noda had no chance of even touching that ball. That's 3-4 inches away from her bat when she waved at it, and you can see the tailing action going on the outside. So an effective pitch, well used. Nakanishi popped out in the third, and down she goes. So a quick 1-2-3 inning for Stanton, just what the doctor ordered for the United States. Red, white, and blue looking for some gold here in this game. We played 4.5. We'll be back with the rest of our slide after this. Slip sliding into the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be McLaughlin, Poaching, and Shepard. The 3 batters scheduled to face Mayumi Fujihara. And right now, it's important, I think, that Japan do everything in their power here to keep the United States off the scoreboard. The deficit now is 2, and that may not seem like a lot, but against the United States it is. And the way they're playing defense and the pitching of Stanton, and if you can tack on another 2 if you're the United States, you really put Japan in a hole.
Yeah, 2 is definitely not a lot, so adding any extra runs. But again, doing them strategically in the sense of not trying to hit home runs and hit hard. We've seen them now start to clutch up when they have the opportunity, so they just need to keep doing that.
Swing and a miss as McLaughlin grounded out, and then she hit the ground ball that at first base Sato touched the orange bag and not the white bag. Then she proceeded to take second on the play, and run came in, but a good job there by Fujiwara to get McLaughlin to swing and miss.
Getting on that outside low corner. Again, it's so hard to hit that outside pitch regardless, but when it's dropping 3-4 inches and staying flat when you think it's going to drop, again, it's deceiving. And when these hitters can get their eyes behind the ball and watch it all the way in, that's when you're successful, and it's so hard with the way these pitchers throw.
You see Ho Ching's numbers as she struck out, single, and has an RBI in this ball game. Leaves that one out. 1 ball, 1 strike. I think if the U.S. gets a base run, I think you might see them go back to playing some small ball as she takes that one out to right field, but on a line to Noguchi as she hauls it in for out number 2.
A little hesitant, Noguchi, kind of forward, kind of back, but wanting to make sure that she reads the ball well. We've seen some outfield errors from Japan. But again, no ball is ever easy somehow when it's hit off USA. And a right-handed hitter hitting to the right side, it's always that scary spin, moving the ball.
Well, and if you're in right field, that ball's tailing away. And as a fielder, the toughest balls sometimes to get a read on are the ones that are hit right at you. And I think she took a moment there and did a good job to regroup and able to haul it in. Addison Shepard hit by a pitch and single. So 1-for-1 ball game here. Three balls and no strikes, so pardon my counter. This is where, if you're Japan, you have really got to bear down here and get this final out. You don't want the U.S. putting together any 2-out rallies, because one of those will break your back right now. You're in the 5th inning.
Yeah, if they can really get out of this inning with no runs, that's going to be just a little momentum shift for them, and they can take that onto their offensive half of the inning.
Fujiwara in to get herself back to run the count full. Three-two changeup, and it is chopped foul. So a good mix there. Let's see what Fujiwara has in store to try and get Shepard. And a swing and a miss. So that's what Japan needed. They deliver a 1-2-3 inning. That's their first clean inning of this ball game, and it comes at a good time. 5 complete. Japan down to their final 6 outs, I might add, trailing 4-2. We'll be back here after a short break. Top of the 6th inning will bring the top of the shop for Japan and Ichikawa, Oga, and Kajin. Scheduled 3, and trying to bunt her way on is Ishikawa, and she's 1 for 2. Ground out and a single. was stranded at third base. That was when Japan put up 2 runs in the third. And you see the corners creeping in. That pitch from Stanton outside, 1-1. That's the thing about Ishikawa. She can bunt for a base hit, and you have to be leery of that, but she can slap for 1 too. Had a notion, pulled it back, and looked at a called strike.
You might forget about that too, and then once she shows that bunt and pulls back, you're like, oh no, I have to be a little more alert. I have to remember who's up to bat, and that they can do any of the 3 things that you can do in a box.
Roller back to Stanton for the out. So again, Stanton doing another good job. That was an easy one. That fell right into the glove, and an easy toss over on a good pitch to Ishikawa.
A little less stressful than the one she had earlier, but nevertheless, a pitcher fielding a ball in the speed of Japan, it's always a tough play.
Now it is Yuimi Oga. Singled, left the base early, so they squandered that opportunity. Then she was the one that popped into that 1-5 double play to end the inning in the third. That was a turning point too, as we know, because the U.S. didn't actually get their runs to the bottom of that inning. Trying to lay that one down and leaving the bat along with it.
Trying to have soft hands. That's how they're so good at bunting, especially from the left-handed box, I've said repeatedly. But they have such soft hands. That's why it just stays right in front of the plate. But when you miss it, the bat drops.
Well, those are pillowy hands then. That's all I can tell you, because that bat couldn't have fallen to the dirt any softer. And those are things that I'm sure the catcher takes note of. 2-2 again, and a good job just to somehow even get a bat on that. That pitch was up in the zone, and she was on her way to first base.
Yeah, the way that when Japan hits and they kind of slap, their angle just goes straight towards that upper right corner of the box.
And there you go. So you have a slapper that's on the left side, and a beautiful pitch on the outside corner gets the job done. And Stanton has come in, and she's been almost lights out, third strikeout.
Well, it's so hard for them as they're breaking towards the right to get a good read or a good judge on the ball, because the ball is going away from them and they are going away from the ball. So Stanton to really be able to stick the outside corner, to be deceiving for the eyes, but also to be called a third strike, is really good placement.
One hopper to short. That's going to be a tough play, and would be anyway, as Hudson not able to get over in time to get her body in front of it, so you're at the mercy of the bounce. And I think Kajin is going to get credited with a base hit.
Yeah, at the mercy of the bounce, but she does well with keeping her glove low. We tend to see players keep their glove high, thinking the ball is going to bounce up there. But nevertheless, a hard hit ball, she's got to try and get around it a little bit more.
Yeah, tough on the cradle. You always start low and come up, not the other way around. And now Shimazu, 2 ground outs to her credit, and back at it here with 2 away. Took something off up the middle, base hit. So talk about 2-out rallies, back-to-back hits for Japan. And a tying run is aboard now for Aaron Sato.
And again, keeping that right shoulder in so it's not opening up towards first, is able to get her hands out towards the pitcher and take the ball up the middle. So they're making those small adjustments to play almost small ball and let Stanton provide the power.
Sato struck out and reached base on an error in the 4th. That pitch up and out of the zone, 1-1. So as important as it was for Japan to keep USA off the board in the previous inning, a situation here now where Stanton was cruising along, ground out and a strikeout for 2 quick outs, and now in trouble after back-to-back hits here. And this is one of those opportunities now for Japan that they just are going to have to capitalize on, as that one will go foul.
Well, in a championship game, when you're playing Japan or you're playing USA. It's not we have to win this game. It's we have to win the inning. If we can win inning 1 and then inning 2 and then 3, 4, 5 and so on, then you come out on top. And so when you get one bad inning where you had really good opportunities, that could have been that deciding factor in a game of 7 innings.
I think you're right. You got to shorten the game plan and go inning by inning. That is the way to do it. And a 2-2 slow roller. Stanton, long arm of the law. Good play there, and they needed that. So a pitcher that can field her position, invaluable. 2 hits squandered by Japan. They come away empty. United States still holding a 4-2 lead. We're going to go to the bottom of the 6th when we come back right here on GameTime.Sport. Back here as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Looks like a pinch hitter in Michaela Watts will come in to hit for Abdullah. And Fujiwara still in the circle for Japan. So we spoke in between innings, and the question is, did Japan not able to capitalize on the couple of opportunities early in the game? Is that what's going to be the difference in this one? You figure they're down to their final 3 outs, but the U.S. now, if they can push a run, at least a run across the board, you got to think that that would be a good insurance run.
You always want insurance when you're playing Japan, but going back to Japan having the opportunities and not being able to clutch up on those, I think it's going to come back to haunt them, I'd say. Sorry if you're afraid of Halloween, but
beauty bunt, tough play, but a good play made. So you talk about the ability to field your position. Fujiwara, of course, the DP in this game, but look at the way she gets off this mound and gets it over in a hurry.
Well, that's the thing. They're not giving up, and they're still making great plays. That is a far trek for a pitcher, and she's determined to keep her team motivated. And so USA, you don't get a lot of opportunities to score on them, but if you give up, you're definitely not going to score. So she's still out there pitching well for her team, and you know what? I'll come get that ball. You don't worry about it.
Handle it myself. McLean Hudson now. Walk, ground out, walk, and a run scored. And she looks at a pitch in for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Very impressed with the top of the order for the U.S. as they have continued to be the spark plug. Ground ball again. Fujiwara, easy play. Over to first, 2 out. So this, sorry.
No, I was saying I'm seeing a difference in the way that Fujiwara pitched earlier in the game. A little, didn't have control, but that really limited USA on getting on and how they were hitting. We see them putting the bat on the ball now, but really those straight pitches and as she settle in is when USA has kind of found a rhythm.
A change up to Bulware, down for a ball. Bulware's had another good game, hit by a pitch in the first, singled and scored in the third, flied out to left field in the fourth. So 1 for 2 ball game again to add to her already impressive batting average over 500. And a good eye to leave that pitch outside for a ball.
She definitely has been a leader offensively, but also defensively for this team. And when you can almost say that about every single person on your team, that's you have the confidence and the team chemistry and the trust to just be a successful team. And again, Bulwer, unbelievable. And I don't think had the outing today that she was liked, but more importantly, her team's on top.
Well, they've only scored 4 runs, and she scored 1 of them, so certainly has thrown herself in the mix here. A 3-1 count. And she drills that one, but just foul. So certainly not fooled by that pitch. And you can say, and you know you do in the infield, that that's just a loud strike. That's just a loud strike. But, inside you're saying, don't throw her that same pitch again because she's on it, okay?
Well, I think with Bulwer, you say that about every pitch.
Well, you're right.
What's so
you're
hard.
right. You're right about
but yeah,
that.
I would go back in and force her to hit it again. But I've said that, and she's done it. And you see him try to slow it down.
That's a tough one. There, that one, and that's going to go all the way to the wall. She's going to round second and get the third easily and pull up with a 2-out triple. And you could see she was just feeling it, and I give her a triple because that you're not going to get that as an infielder unless you go after that and get it on the shortest of hops. You've got no chance.
Well, just to be able to try and get around it is really good footwork. But Bulwer, again, any pitch you throw her an inside pitch, and she just rakes it down the right field line. You throw her a changeup, and it looks like you were telling her, I'm throwing a changeup, because she sits so well, and she has just such fast reactions. Not only that, but to get herself on third, again, it's almost easy for her.
Well, in her last at-bat was a fly out to deep left, so she took the outside pitch there, and now you pitch her inside, and she goes to the alley in right center. So now you got to deal with Juliana Hutchins, the leading hitter in this tournament. She has a sack, a walk, and a run scored, and a single. So her batting average, an even 800 right now. And that's down because for a majority of the tournament she was batting 1,000. So, and I think that was the intentional, unintentional, intentional walk there. So for the second time, Hutchins with a free pass, and they'll take their chances now with Palatori. I think a good time for a talk. It seems like it's been a while since there's really been any conferences out there. And
I like that too. Just let the players play. They both started off a little rough, making some errors, not executing plays. But then, let them play. They are young, but they're also, professional at what they do. These are the best athletes in the world in this age group, and let them play when they need a little guidance. That's what being a coach is being able to read that too.
So Palatori steps in, hit by a pitch, ground out and a strikeout. Chance here, another 2-out rally by the U.S. on a 2-out triple. They're going to try to entice, but they'll just give that base rate up as Hutchins, again, that's the same thing she did after her single in her last at-bat. No bite going. I know the game that you did, when the 5-4 game, a couple of rundowns there that were that were certainly worth going back and watching the video of, because
I think they worked on some base running.
I think that they made a conscious decision that they weren't going to get caught up in that whole thing again.
Well, with a runner on first and third, yes, that throw down on the defensive side is so hard, but even on the offense, because it's all about just reading the ball and stuff. And so it's funny that the last few times it's been the same runners in the same situation, so they get a little bit of extra practice at it.
2-1 in there for a strike. Good pitch on the inside corner from Fujiwara. I give the U.S. credit because a lot of times you go into this bottom of the 6th inning with a lead, and all you really want to do is get back and get those 3 outs. So you're not really so worried about that. But the U.S. continues to put the pressure on as that one misses up to run the count full. And they are really going for this insurance run. My apologies, 2-2 count.
Well, not
Sorry,
only
no,
that,
it is full.
Well, not only that, it's you want to spank the other team. You know, you don't want to be like, oh, we won, but, you know, talk outside on the bus and stuff. It's like, oh, we beat so-and-so, not 2-3, but we beat them 10-1 or something. And so, but not only that, it's Japan. They can come back, and that's what we've seen happen with different teams in the tournament. So multiple reasons to keep going, and if you're an athlete that kind of gives up and just wants it to be over, then probably not going to be on the 18.
Yeah, and I like that. You've got to keep your foot on the gas pedal against a team like Japan. And a hit by pitch. So they tried to go inside again on Palatori, caught her on that right arm. And now the bases are loaded. And it's going to be Peyton Westra. So Westra with a strikeout and a ground out. So she's got a chance here to really crack this egg open. If they can put together a run here. And again, boy, do two-out rallies really hurt. As you can see, the U.S. has done this after 2 quick outs, 2 ground outs back to the pitcher, and then it was a triple, a walk, and a hit by pitch. Have put Fujiwara in a dangerous position. Now you're nibbling, and there's nowhere to put her with a 2-0 count.
And given that she's hit 3 or 4 batters on the left side on that inside pitch, I would be looking for something either off speed or staying away.
And there's that off speed in for a strike. So it was clear, though, that Wester was taking that pitch all the way, and she should have been. And couldn't pull the trigger there. So the count now 2-2. The bags are full here. We are in the bottom of the 6th inning. Gold medal game. A 2-run lead for the United States. Coming in with a perfect 5-0 record, trying to run the table. That one will roll foul. Always one of the hardest things to do in sports in any kind of tournament is run the table. Most coaches will tell you they like to lose a game, you know, that may not be as important, but just to get that out of the way. But the U.S. trying to do it a different way. That changeup up in the zone. So the count now full. Runners will be on the move. So this will be a big pitch here for Fujiwara. The 3-2. And that one fouled off. So you could see a bit of a defensive swing from Westra, but again, sometimes you just spoil so that you can see another pitch.
All right, and that's having a good 2-strike approach, is being able to be that disciplined, knowing that this could potentially be a strike. I don't need to put it into play, but I need to make contact that gives me another life where I can get a pitch that I can drive in a run or two.
So we will do it one more time. Full count, bases loaded, 2 away. That one driven out to right field, and that's going to go all the way to the wall. 1 run in, another run in. And another run, a 3-run double for Peyton Westra coming through in the clutch. U.S. has taken a commanding 7-2 lead.
And if she's not hitting batters on that inside pitch, she's laying it out there for them to drive it all the way to center field again, with Westra taking that pitch right before her up in the zone, fouling it off, creating herself a good, perfect opportunity to drive in 3 runs.
So 7-2, and you figured that Japan had dodged a bullet, but like I said, those 2-0 rallies, you're cruising along, and then you got Bulwer comes up and yanks that ball through the infield and all the way to the gap for a triple. And you're thinking, okay, if we can get away with just maybe giving up 1 run, but you still have 2 outs, and boy, hit batter, a walk, a hit batter, and then an RBI double, and that's it. Pitching change. We'll be back with the details after this.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for Team Japan, number 13, Tamaki Murasa.
So a new pitcher in, as you see, Tamaki Murasi will take over the pitching duties for Fujiwara, who took over the pitching duties for Yamamoto. Third pitcher of the game for Japan, and those are probably the three biggest runs in this game so far. And I think now when you're down to your final 3 outs, you are looking at, first off, the task at hand, getting out of this inning without surrendering another run, and then you really have to put your rally cap on and do something that no one's been able to do against the United States and make up a deficit of 5.
Murasi in a better situation than bases loaded, full count, so has a little bit of leeway, but a good decision to come in with a different pitcher and see if they can go 1, 2, 3, get the third out, and then get a rally going like you're saying, Lance.
At a called strike to Aubrey McLaughlin. McLaughlin grounded out. Then it was a grounder to the pitcher flip over to first, and she was actually on the orange bag, a safety bag, and not the white bag, so was allowed to stay. Came around to score and then struck out in the 5th. Swing and a miss there on a good pitch tailing away. Had a notion and left it out of the strike zone. So a good eye leads to a 2-2 count. That one up and will go foul. Scheduled hitters in the 7th for Japan, Noguchi, Fujiwara, who is out of the game now, and Noda. But Fujiwara is the DP, so we'll see what happens in that scenario, as a walk to McLaughlin keeps the inning alive.
Now hitting third baseman number 28.
So Ho-Ching will step in. She's been solid. Strikeout, an RBI single, and a line out. So she's hit the ball hard twice and takes a good rip there and fouls it out of play. You can see she looks pretty comfortable in that batter's box with that swing.
Even her practice swing, she's working on shortening up on the bat, but her hip and her hands going at the same time. So not just trying to put the ball in play, but with that hip and that hand rotation working together, she's trying to hit it to the fence.
I think we just had to reset with a couple of new balls. Nothing a pitcher hates more than a brand new, shiny new ball. Nothing that a batter likes more than that. And that one in the dirt. One ball, one strike. Still 2 away here. We are still in the bottom of the 6th inning. U.S. has plated 3 to take a 7-2 lead. Heading into potentially to get the final 3 outs and claim a gold medal. That one fouled straight back, and I don't know, a couple infielders here. We sure better not make an error. Although you're younger than me, so if it touches your glove, it's on you. Okay.
There's been a lot of foul balls.
Excused.
A lot of foul balls, and I thought I was going to get one.
And I ain't got one in 10,000 games, so good luck with that. If you
Come
get
on.
one, holler, okay? If you get one, holler, all right? 2-2 count. 2s across the board, actually, and this has been a long bottom of the 6th for Japan. That one lined out, and that's going to be tracked down and hauled in by Ishikawa. So finally, they get out of the inning, but not before the U.S. tacks on some insurance. 3 runs, 7-2. Last call for Japan here when we come back.
The 7th inning, USA now with the lead 7-2.
Welcome back as we get set for the top of the 7th inning. Last call for alcohol for Japan here, as we'll see, and it will be Meibai Noguchi that steps in 0 for 2 here to face Caroline Stanton. And Stanton pours in a strike in the outside corner, and Stanton now can afford to be less than perfect and even more relaxed going into this inning.
I agree with you, but these athletes thrive off pressure situations. It's especially when you're playing Japan, when you start to like play at ease and relax, that's when those errors start to happen, especially when she's been throwing a great game since she's came in. So she does have the leniency up by 5. But no doubt she's going to be zoned in.
Well, speaking of zoned in, Noguchi way out in front of that changeup. She almost put a dent in the fence out there on that dugout side. Had everyone scattering, and lines went up the middle. So you could see she was getting that bat worked up, and a leadoff single here for Japan. I think it's a little early to start saying, hey, but that's the way you got to start things off, one base at a time here when you're down by 5.
When you see that in that foul ball that you said made a dent in the wall, she's timing it up. A foul ball, okay, I'm early on it, it's inside. What can I expect next? I need to wait a little bit longer and push through the ball, and she does just that. So, yeah, you definitely cannot count Japan out because every single swing, there's some type of analyzing to it.
Well, so Fujiwara gets re-entered into the game. Again, she was the designated player, so she will bat here. She's had a triple and scored one of Japan's 2 runs and then grounded out in the 5th. So Stanton now will look to try and close it. Ground ball to second. Over to 2 for 1, and not in time to double it up, but they get the lead runner, and more importantly, the first out of this inning.
I like that Hudson stays back on this ball. If you charge this ball too much, then you're going to make it a real difficult throw to second because you're at a bad angle. And again, they're up by 5, so just get a lead out. Make sure you get them out, and if you can get 2, great. But if not, no big deal. And you can see them playing a little more, not relaxed, but a little more calmed down. And, hey, let's keep it slow, keep the mechanics there.
Playing for outs now. You're not so worried about giving up a run or 2. It's all about the finish, as Leila Lewis now will come in to pinch hit for Eisa Noda. So a new batter for Stanton to face as she tries to inch closer to bringing in that gold medal for the U.S. They are 2 outs away from sitting atop the podium. Just had to make the change official. That one fouled right back, screamer, so she's all over that pitch. And again, if you're Stanton and Hutchins, you take note of that, timing-wise on that. Now you make your adjustments accordingly, figuring that you may have dodged a bit of a bullet. And it goes back to the change. So quickly up 0-2 is Stanton.
Well, now Lewis has only seen 2 pitches. Yes, went hard at the first one that was hard. Now she's only seen a changeup. So a real strategic move according to what the hitter has seen, and that's being her pinch hit first at bat.
And she gets a look at a rise ball out of the zone. So 1-2 count. And that one rolled in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss on a good pitch outside by Stanton. 4 strikeouts since coming in relief for Stanton, and now Nakanishi represents the last opportunity chant for Japan here in this 7th inning. 2 out. And an 0-1 count. One and one. And just foul tip. Good hands to hang on to it no matter. A strike nonetheless. And now Japan down to their final strike. U.S. a strike away from claiming the gold. Stanton lets that go and just missed the outside corner, as I think everyone in Devon Park wanted that call. Either way, it's now 2-2. We'll do it again. And a ground ball, one hopper, tough one, flip over to second, and the United States have claimed the gold at the WBSC U-18 Women's Softball World Cup. They hold the title of world champion here in 2025 on a well-played ball game, well-pitched, and a well-earned win. They will sit atop the podium. Japan will finish with the silver, Mexico the bronze.
I think you said it perfectly. And this ground ball just to end it, going to second base. Like, I'm not even going to throw it all the way down to one. But again, USA coming back after Japan scoring two, proving that this is a team that thrives off of each other. And this is a big win for USA and these young athletes.
Sure was. So you have it. The podium will come on out, and that ceremony will commence shortly. It'll give me a chance to thank some people. First, the host committee for all the food, the transportation, the hospitality. Troy Canaba, Director of Operations at Devon Park. The grounds crew for their tireless work and making all the diamonds look outstanding. The WBSC, of course, the scorers led by Dennis Doohan. Umpires, Frankie Billingsley, Gianpaolo. Great job on their part. And, of course, the crew of umpires. The crew out there that you don't want to hear, you just want to see. They continue, and they did a great job. Of course, the broadcast crew, Luciano and company, the cameramen, the operators that make this whole thing look pretty, GameTime.sport, and of course, my broadcast partners, Chris Abbott and Amanda Fama. For Lance Wynn, I just want to thank you for letting us into your home. It truly was a pleasure. Until next time, signing off from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Be well, be safe. With you all week, and you already saw round one of these two teams play. A 5-4 win by the U.S. Big home run by Aspen Boulware to Japan here to get off to a good start. We saw that ground ball to first, and good job laying on the tag by McLaughlin for out number one.
The leadoff hitter definitely sets the tone of the game, especially when you're the. Again, it's really anyone's game, and it's a championship, so everything's heightened.
Slapped and fielded at third, and not in time. So there you see the speed right away of Oga. And it didn't matter that Yumika Kajin. And Kajin, all she's done in this tournament is runner goes first pitch, and that one gets away. No chance to advance, but a stolen base will put a runner in scoring position. And
have a plan when they get late. A whole 0-2, 1-2. They're going to have to be able to sit, change up, and expect something fast, but also stick to their plan.
So you've got one on with two away. And I apologize. I was ahead of things and thought she had walked, but that's a strikeout. So Kaji. Yamamoto, 4-pitch walk to Hudson. So leadoff runner aboard for the U.S., and that'll bring up Aspen Boulware. And we see
enticing, and you go for it, and then you end up just swinging all the way around.
And that hit her. So she will head down to first base. So this inning starting off exactly the way the United States.
So I think you go right at her.
We'll see. Corners in, bunt laid down, and it's a beauty. Played nicely behind the plate there by Kajin. And she's able to get it. Bronze medal. And a win over China. And another hit batter. And Palatori will head down and uncharacteristic.
The discipline that USA has in the box. You want to get up there.
Swing and a miss, and as you say that, Westra, but that was a good drop ball. Got her to chase, and a big swing here. And a roller to second. Picked up, throw over in time. So talk about dodging a bullet. The U.S. loads them up. The time that you qualify and the time that you actually get on the diamond. Final 8, ground ball, 2-hopper to second. Over to first, no problem for Addison Shepard, 1 away. So, by the runner leaving early on a stolen base attempt. And yes, she did go around. So, second strikeout of the game for.
But that's the thing with Japan, they can get on that number and see the break early.
That's lifted up into left field, going back, tracking and make a nice grab out there. Peyton Westra made that grab look easy. That the puzzle, and it's not your show as she goes down swinging, so you contribute any way you can, and you buy in.
You buy in, and when everyone buys.
Away here, and a 1-2. And it hits her. So, third batter that has been hit in this ball game by Yamamoto. We're only in the bottom of the second inning.
She doesn't stick and stay low. She doesn't frame the ball and stay low. She's so nervous about the runner. But when your pitcher's struggling, you almost need to sit a little bit longer.
3-2 pitch. Runner on the move, and that's on the shorty short hop. Good play there over to first in time. So some solid defense again by Oga. Face Lillian Goodwin. Goodwin has faced the minimal batters, but that ball's hit up, and I'm not sure anyone's going to track that all the way to the wall. Rounding second. Headed to third, and going to make it into third with a leadoff triple.
Fujiwara being very aggressive on that first pitch and hits this ball high with Abdullah playing a little in. This is hit over her head, allowing her to get to
there. The 0-1 and a beautiful bunt laid down, and that's all you can do is protect home plate. As Noda with a base hit.
Want to play far enough in where if you catch a fly ball, the runner's going to be running home and you can get her.
There's a slap attempt, but tracked down by Hoshing. Nice job. Got a great jump on it for the first out. That one flared up, and that's going to drop for a base hit. First run of this gold medal game will belong to the Japan, and another one comes in on the overthrow. So a 2-run single. Trying to cut off that run at third. And that's slapped up, and an easy basket catch. Throw back over in time. So beauty double play, and that's what happens when your fielder. Japan was able to get out of that unscathed, and that one lined up the middle. So Boulware doing her thing. If it's not laying it down, good side. Move the runner over in the first. Runner goes. Boulware on the run, but I don't think she, that's correct. She did not slap the tag on, and it's not a forced play. So
more often than not, that obstruction call's called.
Well, that throw was there in time. The tag, it looked like she missed the tag for level of experience and maturity that the senior teams do. That ball grounded to first. Check, and an easy tag. So very good job there by Sato, and again facing the runner.
Sunken in a little bit, but not quite there. So if USA can sit on that fastball.
Well, they sat on that rise ball, but couldn't touch it as Smith. Change up, ground ball, and good job to keep the body in front. And Sato has been fundamentally sound over there. I think that's the case. All right. Now again, it's where the ball's at, not where, and not the white bag. And that ball flared out, so that's going to cash in 1 run. No chance to get another. Runner's going to take second on the play, so Ho-Ching takes advantage of that. Took something off through the hole. That's going to give the U.S. the lead. So another clutch hit. Addison Shepard will pick up an RBI, get another 2-out hit. Boy, 2-out rally sure hurt. That was a pretty close pitch to take, I tell you. She walked in her first at bat and waves at that pitch. So I think you and I alluded off the top when we saw the lineup initially and noticed that Goodwin, now that left it up to Stanton, and a ground ball weakly to second. Easy out for the second one of this inning.
When you throw
ground ball, and that's going to be a tough hop. You knew that Hoching was in trouble because she started going back a third and not forward. You only had one chance, and that flied out to end the second in her only other at bat. And she drills one, but right into the glove. Snagged by McClellan, and inning over. That got to be feeling pretty comfortable up there now. And she leaves that one for a leadoff walk here to open up the home half of 4.
with the inning that USA
stole the base and scored in the third. That one lifted up high. Settling under it is Shimazu, and she makes the grab for the first out.
It's a waste pitch, so that's okay. But yeah, when you are...
That one lined out to right field, base hit, rounding second in the third. A one-out single for Hutchins. She's still out.
Yeah.
The 0-2 floated, and that runner's going to come scamper, try to score, and she's going to be safe on the play. And that's a tight one.
They have 7-10 home runs this whole time, but they have not been hitting extremely hard. If they've hit the ball hard, it's been a base hit or two. So it's those mental little errors that have gotten Japan down.
Right now it's 4-2. That one flared short, wait on it, throw over, in time, inning over. So a good job to keep that runner at third game. It'll be Fujiwara, Noda, and Nakanishi. First pitch swing. Stanton fielding the position well to record out number one. One pitch, one away.
We've seen Japan swing at that.
3-2 waved at, and down goes Noda. First strikeout of the game for, Nakanishi popped out in the third. And down she goes. So a quick 1-2-3 inning for Stanton, just with the orange bag and not the white bag. And she proceeded to take second on the play, and run came in, but a good job there by Fujiwara to get McLaughlin to swing and miss. I think you might see them go back to playing some small ball as she takes that one out to right field, but on a line to Noguchi as she hauls it in for out number two. And a swing and a miss. So that's what Japan needed. They deliver a 1-2-3 inning. That's their first clean inning of this.
Have to be a little more alert. I have to remember who's up to bat and that they can do any of the three things that you can do in a box.
Roller back to Stanton for the out. So again, Stanton doing it.
Their angle just goes straight towards that upper right corner of the box.
And there you go. So you have a slapper that's on the left side and a beautiful pitch on the outside.
But also to be called a third strike is really good placement.
One hopper to short. That's going to be a tough play, and would be anyway, as Hudson not able to get over in time to get her back at it here with two away. Took something off up the middle, base hit. So talk about two-out rallies, back-to-back hits for Japan. And go inning by inning. That is the way to do it. And a 2-2 slow roller. Stanton, long arm of the lot. Good play there, and they needed that. So a pitcher that can field.
Haunt them, I'd say. Sorry if you're afraid of Halloween, but.
Beauty bunt. Tough play, but a good play made. So you talk about the ability to be the spark plug, ground ball. Again, Fujiwara, easy play. Over to first, 2 out. So this, sorry.
No, I was thinking to hit it again, but I've said that and she's done it, and you see him try to slow it down.
That's a tough one. There, that one, and that's going to go all the way to the wall. She's going to round second and get the third easily and pull up. And I think that was the intentional, unintentional, intentional walk there. So for the second time, Hutch, a team like Japan. And a hit by pitch. So they tried to go inside again on Palatori, caught her on that right arm. And now the bases are loaded. Full count, bases loaded, 2 away. That one driven out to right field, and that's going to go all the way to the wall. 1 run in, another run in, and another run, a 3-run double for Peyton Westra. So a new pitcher in, as you see, Tamaki Murasi will take over the pitching duties for Fujiwara, who took
in a better situation than bases loaded, full count, so has a little bit of leeway, but a good decision to come in with a different pitcher and see.
DP, so we'll see what happens in that scenario as a walk to McLaughlin keeps the inning alive. This has been a long bottom of the 6th for Japan. That one lined out, and that's going to be tracked down and hauled in by Ishikawa. So finally, they get out of the air on that dugout side. Had everyone scattering, and lines went up the middle. So you could see she was getting that bat worked up, and a leadoff single here for Japan. I think it's a little early. Stanton now will look to try and close it. Ground ball to second. Over to 2 for 1, and not in time to double it up, but they get the lead runner, and more importantly, the first out of this inning. Swing and a miss on a good pitch outside by Stanton. 4 sold. Stanton lets that go and just missed the outside corner, as I think every way it's now 2-2. We'll do it again. And a ground ball, 1 hopper, tough one, flip over to second, and the United States have claimed the gold at the WBSC U-18 Women's Softball World Cup. They game well pitched and a well-earned win. They will sit atop the podium. Japan will finish with the silver.
Thrives off of each other, and this is a big win for USA and these young athletes.
Sure was. So you have it. The podium will come on out, and that's